Welcome everybody to the How to Create an Online Store from Your Kitchen Table webinar. I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here. So what will you learn today? What we're going to be covering today is what domains you need to purchase and how many, what website platform you should launch your online store on, and how to source suppliers for your stock. Very important, whether that's drop shipping, whether that's sourcing suppliers where you're creating your own product or your own clothing label, or sourcing other products from other distributors. So I'll be walking you through that today. Look, it may sound really obvious, but if you want to get the most from today's session, my best recommendation is to close down all your browsers, turn off Netflix, grab a notebook and pour yourself a glass of wine because we're going to be covering a lot, so stay tuned. Plus, there's a very special bonus for those who stay online until the very end. I'll be offering the first lucky 20 guests my ultimate guide to SEO, which uncovers the latest techniques on ranking with Google and how my highest source of traffic through my e-commerce business came from these strategies. So it's not one to be missed. And you do have to stay to the very end. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's dive in. First up, I want to ask you, does this sound like you? You've had a baby and now starting to think about returning to work. And, it's a bit of a quandary to be in when, you've had this gorgeous baby and perhaps you came from a corporate background or you had potentially a full-time job before you started and you're thinking that you're ready to, interact with adults and start to really return to work in some form. So perhaps you're, negotiating part-time hours with your boss, or even exploring other ways to earn money, such as running an Etsy or eBay store? Or do you just have a burning desire to do something else apart from managing the kids and the household and really want to contribute financially to the family? Does this resonate with you? You would love to have your own online store. Maybe you love making your own stuff or dream of having your own. Perhaps you're very good with the sewing machine and you can make baby clothes that you've always wanted to sell. Or perhaps you're a stay-at-home mum just looking to do something that you love and can get paid for. Imagine having your own online store where it was a side income for you and you really enjoyed, making your own things and it be a true passion for you. Or maybe you're a mum who just doesn't want to return to the workforce. Going back to a traditional job just doesn't make a lot of sense with where you're at in life and with the needs of your family. Or is this more like you? You've potentially dabbled in an online business, but it's never really gotten off the ground. And, perhaps you've opened an eBay store and sold a couple of things, but really felt as though it wasn't going places and you needed a bit of help. Perhaps you could never really get all the moving parts to flow, getting the branding and positioning correct, making the website look professional and convert for you and function properly. And, then there's pushing sales. Were sales slow or you'd go a whole week without selling anything at all? Don't worry, this is common in business when it's just not set up correctly. Do you just feel that you're a bit set up? Or do you just feel as though you're a bit fed up? Searching for suppliers that produce quality products. When it comes to sourcing overseas manufacturers, one of the biggest hurdles is the language barrier with suppliers, which can have a huge impact on business. And, just making sales through your website. You may have set up your website properly, but there's just tumbleweeds blowing in the wind. You can't sort of figure out why you're not achieving sales, even though you're putting in a bit of marketing, you're doing all the right things. You just are at your wit's end with, making the website really high performing, and you're watching all those other e-commerce businesses out there just kill it. Or do you just feel as if you're a little bit overwhelmed and you're ready to throw in the towel? So, it's just too much to take on. You've got stock, you're ready to sell, you got your website and branding, but it's just not working, and you're overwhelmed as it is with running the kids and the household and your husband and everything else that goes along with it. And running this online business is just not working for you at the moment. And once you've sorted out your supply issues, have you had problems with just choosing the right products and the most popular products that will actually sell out? You may have found yourself in a position where you have too much stock of the kind nobody wants, which is a really big problem, because then you have to somehow shift that stock. Or are you secretly wondering how all the other mums do it, juggling the drop-offs and the pickups and the commute? Mums that are returning to a traditional work and have managed to get part-time hours, the commute back and forth, as well as, dropping baby or children off at school. It's, how do they do it all? And negotiating part-time hours with their boss can be a huge hurdle, because the needs of the actual role that they're in may not suit working from home. But it's possible. You've seen other mums do it, you hear those success stories, and you really want a piece of it. You want to know how people can buy from you and what their secret is. And perhaps you're like me, you've always wanted to have your own business, perhaps even just a small business to start with. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My brother is an abseiling window cleaner and my father runs a farm. My stepdad is a technician, so it was a natural progression that at some point I'd own my own business. It was just all about timing. And have you reached a point where you've had a baby and tried to negotiate more flexible working arrangements, and you have a boss who just doesn't get it? Perhaps he or she doesn't have a family of their own, so it's really hard to find that support. Or perhaps the needs of the role are too great to offer work from home conditions and it's just not feasible. So you really have to explore other options. I know for me, commuting an hour on the bus to the city while dropping off at my local kindy put an enormous amount of strain on me personally. The morning was a pure rush, and often I'd be on the bus wondering, what am I doing this for? I just want to be home with my kids, and I don't want to be commuting the hour back and forth to work. I first started when my baby girl India was born preemie. This is her and I in the hospital when she was just a couple of hours old. It was a huge shock for me that she was born at 30 weeks. I was on a ferry visiting a friend with my friend and my waters broke. There was a lot of time in hospital while she grew and a lot of thinking time. As you can imagine, it was long days in the hospital. She was ultimately a well baby, but just needed to grow, so spent a lot of time there under the care of the special care nurses. I had planned to go back to work after 6 months, but her early arrival meant I simply could not return to work. But as soon as I realised all I needed was my laptop, Wi-Fi, and willingness to knuckle down and learn. After all, I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, as all my family were. So my online business, Petite Bamboo, was born. I saw suppliers, I put together a BigCommerce website, and I had the saying in my head, build it and they will come. But I really started to get frustrated with the lack of sales, and I spent more time on the phone to BigCommerce getting my website right. I worked on YouTube and watched every digital marketing video I could find. I'd log on to my online e-course and I'd test. I can't imagine how much money, I hate to think back and look at how much money I spent, but it was a lot. To be honest, I learned from YouTube, experts in the industry, and had a thirst for knowledge. And I got big results. I started to make some serious sales through the website. I earned 20,000 real and engaged Facebook fans. I'm not into buying fans on Facebook or Instagram. I find that spammy and non-genuine. I'm all about real and authentic. And I started selling out some of my products. When I got pregnant with my third, baby Finn, I picked up a full-time job that I simply adored while juggling my side gig. But I truly wondered how I was going to return to a job in a full-time capacity now as a soon-to-be mother of 3. My world pretty much fell apart when I was fired from that job. I remember sitting on the steps of my house crying to my husband. So many thoughts plagued me. How will I contribute to my family? I love working, it's my passion. But my third being about to be born and 2 already in daycare, the thought of commuting or paying daycare fees really had me in a spin. I was really relying on going back to that job in a part-time capacity, and even that was hard to imagine. Thoughts scrolled around in my head. What if I'm still breastfeeding? When is the right time to go back to work? I don't want to work in an office and be away from my baby. But we live in Sydney and it's so expensive and I must earn an income. And you might be able to relate to this too. How you justify the daycare fees on a part-time wage? Me personally, I had a mortgage that I needed to contribute to. My husband's income alone was just not enough. But really, this was my ultimate chance to help others through my e-commerce business and through other means and really tap into my talent. It was now or never. My brother has always said to me, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. And now I truly believe him. So I went on to push my little Petite Bamboo business even harder and lift my game. And I started my own web design and development business, which became a roaring success. I really learned everything there is to know about mastering the art of Facebook advertising and AdWords. And I reinvested everything I earned back into the business and really pumped those sales. I can't tell you how much I put everything in. And, I worked on making that side hustle, or what I thought was a side hustle, into something very real. This is one of my bamboo baby wraps that I designed myself and had an overseas manufacturer supply. I put everything into that design and I really made it work. I made sure that professional photography was a priority for me and that I really marketed it properly and ended up replacing that income. My success became very real. I knew I was meant to lose that job that I really thought was for me at the time. The universe had certainly delivered and, some things really do happen for a reason. I could enjoy my new baby and be there for my kids. This is my son graduating from kindy, about to start school, and Finn when he was just a couple of months old. I really felt as though I could have the freedom that I'd always desired. I could be there for my new baby and be there for my kids while earning a decent income. I could be canteen mum, which I'd always wanted, and duck out for a run if I wanted to. The choice was mine, and I just simply loved it. At the time, I'd also discovered that there was a lack of local Sydney WordPress developers, so I began designing websites, just like What She Pictures, Instagram flat lay creator. I designed hers. I also designed Susan's from Kinesiology Effect. She wanted mobile tablet responsiveness. She wanted it to be lead generating, and she wanted a web strategy to convert. And she got some really big results. I was so happy for her that I could do that for her. She got more visitors, more clients, and her ROI was ultimately huge. She saw a 500% increase of client love. Her testimonial says it all. I always blush when I read this. Since redesigning my website, I've seen a huge increase. Since redesigning my website, I've seen a huge growth in traffic, leads, and inquiries. I'm so happy that I decided to take the leap and invest the time, says Susan Martinez from Kinesiology Effect. And, these figures are conservative that I can't really share here. So why am I sharing this with you? When I was fired from my job, I searched high and low for a part-time job. But would it have made me happy to be away from my babies? Probably not. I knew there had to be an easier way to bring in an income into the family and a reoccurring income. And really, I'm just a mum of three with no formal digital marketing training. I am self-taught and have grown to a six-figure business over the last 7 years. And trust me, it's much easier than you may think. The thing is, I've researched, tried, and tested so many options, and my methods work. And really, I always like to choose the simplest path. So let me walk you through it. E-commerce success really comes down to getting it right from the start. The branding, the website, the shipping carrier, the integration, the marketing. So many moving parts. So let's dive in. What we're going to be covering today is what domains you need to purchase and how many, what website platform you should launch your online store on, and how to source suppliers for your stock. Your business name can actually be determined by what domains are currently available. I'd start by brainstorming a list of short names for your business and then jumping onto crazydomains.com.au and seeing what's available, or another domain provider in your area. I'd always recommend purchasing the .com.au and the .com and seeing if they are both available. And if they aren't available, consider adding a dash in between one word. Consider adding a dash in between if one word is taken. If the ones you're after are free, purchase them straight away. That's my best advice. It would cost you around $25 for 2 years and are worth their weight in gold if they are good domains. Also consider keyword-rich domains. For example, if I wanted to open a Bamboo baby clothing store and wanted to name my business Bamboo Babies and the domain was available, it gives you a head start to ranking your business at the top of Google, as bamboo and babies are very relevant to the actual business. So I've always purchased my domains from Crazy Domains, as it's a quick and easy way to search and buy online, but of course it's completely up to you. So the second important consideration is the right platform to be on. I've used self-hosted platforms like Shopify and Squarespace in the past, but the problem is you could spend a lot of time and money building an online store on these platforms and you never really own them. That's right, it's essentially rented space and you're paying a premium for the privilege and bound by their terms. These platforms are very limited in what you can do. I've been a web designer for 7 years and I always recommend WordPress, as it's powerful for ranking at the top of Google and very wide in capabilities and perfect to start your online store. Once you've decided to go with WordPress, you simply need to purchase hosting, which, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's simply where on the internet your website lives. And your hosting provider can take care of ensuring your website loads and often houses your emails too. So my personal recommendation is SiteGround for hosting. I always refer my clients there. It's affordable. It's as low as $4.95 per month and a really reliable host. They also have a great site speed feature, which is pretty cool. There are two types of WordPresses that you can install. One is self-hosted, which is wordpress.com, and one is the commercial version where you purchase your own hosting, and it is preferable as there's much more scope to be able to do so much more, which is wordpress.org. Most hosting providers will have a one-click WordPress installation, which is the perfect and ideal WordPress that you need to be on. So how to source suppliers? Now, in my experience, you can go down two paths. When you're just starting out, you can test the market and either purchase quantities in bulk at a reduced rate and sell through your online store, or you can drop ship. For those unfamiliar with drop shipping, this works by only purchasing what you sell. For example, I used drop ship with my very first online baby store called Maxinoli. So a customer would come onto my website, buy a baby sleeping bag in their baby size, for example, and then I would put an order through to my drop ship supplier. They'd invoice me and then directly ship the item out to my customer on my behalf. This means no holding stock in a warehouse or at home and is hugely convenient. But of course, drop shipping means the cost per unit is often higher, so you just really need to know your numbers and ensure that your price is still competitive. You can also approach wholesalers directly and ask for their lookbook. For example, you could purchase, if you had an online baby store, you could reach out to Aiden and Anae. They're a well-known big brand that people resonate with, and they have a reputation, and ask for their lookbook. And often you'll receive a wholesale rate if you purchase in bulk. So you could order 20, say, sleeping bags, and then they'll often give you a price guide for the recommended retail price. And that's the way you would make your profit and actually reoccurring income. So once you would load up all your products onto your website and you could track inventory that way, you could potentially make money in your sleep. It's really quite fantastic. The third option is designing your own label or actually creating your products from scratch. When it comes to designing your own label, there's a bit of a process involved. What I did was obtain a garment that I loved and wanted to use as a base sample. For example, if I'd purchased a pretty little dress, I would use that as a basis and then be able to make alterations from there. I'd send this sample to my agent to begin the process. So I'd write down in a spreadsheet a list of alterations. So for example, if we're using the bamboo dress, I would say I would like the sleeves longer, I would like the length of the dress to be shorter, I'd have buttons down the front, I'd like a zipper, I'd like this particular fabric and the stretch, and really the agent that I work with really guides you throughout the whole way. So he will outline, what your options are in terms of fabric, thickness, colors, and really style. Him being a fashion designer himself really helps to understand the process and really know your options. And I had never designed any kind of label before. I have no background in fashion, but managed to, really work with my agent to really design my own label. And it was so much fun. I was very, very proud of designing my own children's label, and it meant that it was completely unique to me, and I had the option of being able to wholesale my stock out, which was hugely beneficial. So once I've specified, the color, the fabric, and then the quantities, I started with a range of 5 different options. So I had 2 choices of baby wraps in terms of thickness and pattern. I had 2 baby cardigans that were half bamboo and half cotton. So I had 2 different styles of that, and I had 3 different styles of sleeping bags. So it's a bit of a juggle at first. You've really got to have your spreadsheet out, negotiate on price, then that can determine your quantities. And don't forget, the more that you order, the lower the cost per item is. So something to consider, and you've got to factor in what you think may sell and what that you really need to test the market first with. So it's good to start small, but not too small in that you're paying a really high cost per item, and it's really not beneficial, because what you've got to factor in is also the shipping costs to be sent by air freight or container. And once you pay tax on top of that, it can really add up. So you've really got to understand, you've got to hire a freight forwarder and really understand all the costs involved, have them all written down on a spreadsheet so you understand the bottom line profit that you may have once you're all good to go and the whole process is complete. So I'd also refine the process by, receiving the garment that I've requested with a bunch of alterations and specs. I would get sent an example of the design garment, and that would be the first round. I would then refine that and then write another list of changes, send it back to the agent, who would send it to the manufacturer in Shanghai or other parts of China, and then be able to go back and forth until we have the final sample that is approved and ready for production. So it's really lots of fun. So the whole benefit of having your own online store isn't just to receive profit from just selling products online. There is many more revenue streams that you can, run with, and it's just understanding these revenue streams and really optimizing them. So, once your products are loaded, once you've, gone through the whole process of production, or you've ordered products from an existing distributor of somebody else's label, whichever route that you go down, or even if it's drop shipping, it's important to, load up all the products onto your website, into your store with your payment gateway and your prices and description and your website looking great. And then it's all about getting traffic to your site. So you can essentially make money in your sleep. You may have inventory tracked in your store. Let's just say you have 50 of each product. And then all you need to do is get lots of traffic onto your site so that you can get as much exposure as you can and ultimately make as many sales as possible. So I would always, as a first step, set up a Facebook ad campaign. I'd also recommend Google AdWords, although you need a bit of a budget for that. And when you're just starting out, you may not be in a position to do so. So I'd set up a really good Facebook ad campaign, run an ad for as little as $5 a day, and just test and see what ads are successful, what are your costs per lead and cost per click, and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And also factor in that cost, that ad spend, into your budget and on your spreadsheet, so you can really see, once you've taken out the cost of the product, the shipping, and your advertising spend, what you're left over with. This can also determine your cost per item, what you're actually going to sell it for, your recommended retail price. So you really need to factor all these essential elements in. But once you've mastered the art of setting up your online store with all your products and adding a competitive price, and making sure that your website looks good, it navigates well, and sending traffic to your site, it can be really successful. And that recurring income you'll soon experience, and you'll soon understand what products sell well and what are no-brainers, what products are really aren't successful, and it's just a constant process of refinement. Another way that you can earn money via recurring income is through affiliate marketing on your website. I recommend ClickBank Marketplace. And so what that is advertising of somebody else's product onto your website. You may have seen banner ads at the top of websites or down the side or in blogs. You'll see a banner there. Now you can add those banners through ClickBank Marketplace. And what that means is when a customer or just a user onto your site clicks through to those ads, you earn money from those. So you obviously need a lot of traffic in order to benefit from affiliate marketing, but it's highly successful and highly profitable, because all you really need to do is get traffic to your site and also have the ads so they're not obtrusive to your brand and they look good and they're not overwhelming. But I think a nice way to do it is adding them into your blogs and making sure that they're relevant. So if you had an online baby store, I really wouldn't recommend adding, say a sports ad onto your site that isn't really relevant. You want to make sure that it is relevant, but also not your competitor. So, something in your industry that might be relevant to a user that may be onto your site, and because the potential of them clicking through to that ad and then potentially spending through the website could be beneficial for you. The other benefit of having an online store and having recurring income is via wholesaling. So it's all about setting up relationships with other brands that may want to stock your product. And that's the beauty of designing your own label or a prototype for your own product. It means that recurring income comes from other online stores or bricks and mortar, and they would continue to purchase from you and keep filling their stock orders. And it could be huge. When I had my Petite Bamboo label, I would walk from store to store and just cold call via email and say, here is my lookbook. Would you like to put in wholesale order? I'd have everything looking perfect and having an online brochure so that stores could get an understanding of the cost per unit, what it means to order in bulk. And it's great for other stores that are looking to stock other brands. It's great for you because it means that they'll keep ordering if your product's good and they're customer ultimately is interested and keeps purchasing from them. So it's a win-win for everybody. You know, when it's done really well, when you've set up an online store and it's all flowing correctly, you can really do well from it. I used to wake up to 20 plus orders a day, and it can be quite overwhelming at first to have that kind of success. You know, here I am as a mum of three, just starting out and designing my own label, children's label for the very first time. And once I started really getting traffic to my site and getting some exposure, I would wake up to this and it would be brilliant because it was all automated. I had the orders go through on my website, which was sent to my third-party logistics supplier via email. So I really wouldn't have to do anything. And it was just fabulous because I would wake up to money in my bank account. It was just perfect. And, you know, it's not an easy process. There's a lot involved in the setup, but once it is set up, you can reap the rewards. I would often set weekly goals, monthly goals, and quarterly goals, and really work towards those goals through my marketing efforts and paid advertising as well. And I would, you know, invest a lot of time in trialing new products and designs. Some of my products didn't work as well as others, and then I would order more of the products that did really well. I had bamboo cardigans, baby cardigans, that just sold like hotcakes. So I would invest a lot of time, you know, refining the product as well. I ordered another shipment of sleeves that were just a little bit longer because that was the feedback that I got. And so, you know, I sold out even quicker the next time and just continued that process. I found out that little chevron baby pants weren't as popular. And I wouldn't have known that unless I'd trialed it. So I'm glad that I did it, and it meant that I wouldn't have to order, you know, baby pants in the future, but I could work on what products sold well, order more in bulk, which reduced the cost down, and really focus my marketing on those particular products because I knew they were doing really well. And you know, the beauty of having an online store is you can have multiple revenue streams. So it's not just having products to sell online. There's also wholesaling, affiliate marketing, and you can even create an ebook, which is purchasing an ebook online. So, you know, once you've set up your multiple revenue streams, it's just scaling those streams. And, you know, especially when you find the sweet spot of what works for affiliate marketing, which ebooks sell well. You could run online courses. You could focus your efforts on wholesaling, or if wholesaling wasn't working well for you, you could look at the cost per unit and items, you know, create special deals or packages for your wholesalers. So once you've got multiple revenue streams, it can be highly, highly successful. Okay, so now we've uncovered exactly how you go about setting up your very own online store and really how easy it is to get started. And look, if you love what you see so far, I would love to take a moment over a couple of slides just to show you and introduce you to my Business Box brand. So I've actually rebranded from I Do Digital to Business Box. After years of creating product market fit e-commerce businesses as a professional front-end web developer and digital marketer, and being asked to get involved really on a personal level with the curating of the actual business, I have created the perfect solution. A lot of businesses would come to me and ask for their website to be designed and developed, but because I'm a digital marketer, I've got a lot of knowledge and know-how. I've been there and done that with what works and what doesn't. So I really wanted to provide businesses with a complete solution. As a mum of three myself, I know the angst of, you know, wanting to return to work of some sort, but the hours versus pay just not stacking up by returning to a traditional job, and the quandary of having to choose between work and staying home with the kids just that bit longer. I know that a lot of fellow mums, especially mums from my son's school, used to ask me if I can help them with their business and really emulate the kind of success that I've had. Having an online business is much easier than you may think. There's a very specific formula to get it right, so you make sales and can really make a living from it. You see, the thing is, I know mums who have tried their hand at a side hustle and put a lot of money into it without really seeing a return. I really, really, really don't want this to happen to you or any other mum out there. Forget about the stress of trying to get the branding right, trying to get the website to function properly, and trying to see if you have the correct positioning. My solution is completely done for you. So, what does a business in a box entail? I will provide a complete mobile tablet responsive full e-commerce website, a conceptualized brand. So I help you brainstorm what niche you'd like to get into, how, the name, how it's a good product to market fit. I provide a professional logo, a supplier contact, SEO friendly blogs, social media setup, basic search engine optimization, and also newsletter integration. There's not lots of moving parts when it comes to creating an online business, and I don't want any mum to struggle. So let's just unpack this a little. You'll receive a complete e-commerce website with products loaded, ready to go, logo and placeholder content, so that you're good for launch. WooCommerce setup with your payment gateway is one of the most trickiest parts of setting up an e-commerce business. There's lots of components, order confirmations, payment options, including types of payment gateways. It could be Afterpay, it could be PayPal, Stripe, it could be just bank transfer, and inputting the details on the confirmation order, or the checkout page, I should say. And it's having all those moving parts working succinctly so that your website works, so that your products are loaded and that you can check out properly. And a lot goes into it. I normally charge from $4,000 plus GST for a website of this kind, but these are included in my business in a box packages. You'll also get a CMS with a back end. So one of the old school methods for web design and development would be for the web designer to have complete control over the website and not hand over, full admin access. So every time you needed something changed on the website, you'd have to go back to your developer or designer and, pay through the roof just to have little changes. But I like to give complete control. I like my customer to have complete control over their website. Their website is theirs to update it and change it, because I understand that needs of the business change and evolves, and you need to be able to access it and not have to pay for every little thing. So my business in a box also comes with a professional logo, and you'll receive a matching color palette. As you can see from this color palette here, it's actually matching. So, the actual colors do match with each other for print and web quality. And it's so important to create a strong brand by having consistency across all your assets. So that comes down to digital assets, your website, and all the elements on your website, but also your communications, your newsletter, could be brochures, could be social media, Facebook banners, and assets that you create for social media. It's really important to have to use the same colors so people start having that brand recognition. You'll also receive an inspiration board. It'll be a modern and clean style, and really everything that you need. You'll also receive a conceptualized brand. So I sell complete packages with an idea in mind. So I might create a yoga package, and you'll purchase the package, the business in the box, and let's just say you've always wanted to work in the yoga space. Perhaps you're a yoga teacher and you're wanting a yoga online store. I work with you to really hone in on that niche, come up with the product to market fit, help you brainstorm with a really sassy name that people will remember. I'm very good at, brainstorming back and forth and really drawing out of you what, you think you want your business name to be. For example, Petite Bamboo was bamboo children's clothes, so the name is very, very suitable. My tagline was small footprints on the planet. So, meaning that there's less imprint on the planet. Bamboo is obviously petite, meaning it's a French style clothing. So, petite's a French word, and bamboo obviously it's bamboo. So, it suited really, really well. And to be very clear, before I go into what else is included in the packages, it really is your business handed to you. So what I'm doing is creating a whole business and everything that you need. So it's the conceptualized brand, the logo, the supplier contacts, SEO friendly blogs, basic SEO, social media setup, newsletter integration. So it's not just providing you with a website or a logo or just one part of what it takes for a business to be set up. I provide absolutely everything that you need. So basic SEO, the normal value of this kind of setup is $1,500 plus GST, and that can be a monthly cost. Some agencies are known to charge through the roof. So what I provide is having a background in SEO, and my business partner was an SEO specialist. I learned so much from her. And so what you receive is 3 professionally written and relevant blogs. So they'll have keywords in them relevant to your industry. You'll have Yoast installed. So this is fundamental. SEO is not set and forget, unfortunately, and you do need to keep working at it. So this will provide a basic setup. And when you have Yoast installed, you'll be able to, you'll also get an education of how to make each page optimized. And that will be great for when you're uploading new blogs and new content. I will install Google Analytics and integrate it with your new website. I'll send your sitemap to Google, really important, and set up your Google Search Console. So 6 pages will be optimized. So it'll be the main 6 pages of your site, potentially your homepage, your About Us, could be, like your top, it could be just your overall product pages. It could be, so supplier contacts. I will have to say that it's pretty priceless when it comes to this. Once you're good to go, sourcing your product from manufacturers who not only speak English but understand a really good quality product and communicating that is just so important. Me supplying a contact who deals directly with these overseas manufacturers. He is Australian, and he will be able to help you source product. So the Australian agent will liaise on unit price, shipping, timings, and actually the product itself. So, with my bamboo baby wear business, I really just had to follow his lead. So I would, give a sample of a garment that I wanted, and I would say, I want all these changes to it. I want the arms longer. I want the buttons down the front, or I want a zipper, or I want this color and this fabric. So, it was really a beautiful experience designing my own baby wear label, and I had never done it before. Absolutely never. I didn't even have a fashion background or understood, fabrics and thickness of fabrics and, the stretch in them. So really, this agent walks you through it all, and he negotiates, he's totally free. He takes his cut out of the actual cost per unit, and he sources the best price. So he's really one in a million and will save you hours of time by sifting through Alibaba or any of those other suppliers out there, that really you could waste a lot of time and actually a lot of money trying to get the garment right, being sent samples that don't work and that are not right, that are not high quality. And then there's running the risk of paying thousands of dollars for a product that you can't sell because it's, the wrong size or just not a good quality product. So, the beauty of this is my contact lives in Sydney, and he's very, very responsive and very ready to help. So I think that can, and very good at communicating. And you can get in touch straight away and start ordering your product. And there's no wasting time, navigating the language barrier. So unfortunately, whilst the cost per unit from purchasing with overseas manufacturers is considerably lower. Sometimes it can just be terribly difficult to navigate the language barrier. And even when you think that they've understood exactly what you want, perhaps, you know, you haven't communicated it correctly and run the risk of, having sort of a dodgy product or a product that, you just can't use, and, you know, feeling that disappointment. So, you know, the supplier contact details, I only give them out to my clients who purchase my business in a box, and, you know, it's fundamentally important. And I'll also throw in my drop shipping guide. So if you're not familiar with drop shipping, it means that you can put products on your website and only purchase from a supplier when you get an order in. So you're not seeing any stock. There's no need for a third-party logistics warehouse. You're only ordering what you need. Now, drop shipping can be more expensive, so something to be aware of. So the cost per unit, there's not as much margin. However, you could absorb that by having your prices a little bit higher. There's lots of opportunity there, and it cuts out a lot of costs as well, having to store stock and having to move stock that you can't sell. You know, imagine buying thousands of dollars worth of stock that, you know, is sitting in a warehouse that you just can't shift. So really important, really lots of potential with drop shipping, and I've got a bit of a guide of how to do that. Also worthwhile to note is that my agent deals with, he's a fashion designer himself, and he's now set up his own business, and he designs for Witchery and Saba and Rebel Sport. So yeah, really, really good contact there. And he helped me set up my Petite Bamboo brand. If you book a call with me to discuss my amazing businesses in a box, I'll be offering my ultimate guide to SEO training bundle valued at $490. So if you're not familiar with SEO, it stands for Search Engine Optimization, and what it means is how to rank your business at the very top of Google. So when somebody tries to Google your business, you land at the top, which is, you know, hugely important for generating free traffic to your website, which is a major factor in online success. So I'll be offering my free ultimate guide to SEO training bundle if you book a call with me in the next 15 minutes. So have a look for the little notification down the side. You can click on the link, book a call with me, and the training bundle will be all yours. I'll also set up your social media accounts. There's a bit of an art to getting them right. So, you know, I will do a Facebook banner, obviously insert your logo, do the easy stuff, but also make sure that your Instagram profile is set up correctly, has the right wording. And I will do, you know, a complimentary Facebook banner, which is great. So, you know, why go down this path? Well, I think it's really, really important to invest in yourself and earn an income while staying home with the kids. It's just so important. I mean, when I was made redundant from my last job working for the man, I was devastated because I thought I'd finally found an okay paying job, you know, working part-time, and I thought it's perfect around the kids. But in reality, if I minus the daycare fees, you know, it really isn't a good salary, my part-time job. I couldn't work full-time because I didn't want to work full-time with 3 kids. So really, I really yearned for that income while staying home with the kids, and a real income, not one of those spammy, you know, work from home scams. I'm definitely not into that. This is a real business. That's what I think that there's potential for, because I've lived it. You know, I've had absolutely no desire to ever go and work for somebody again, because I know the formula it takes to make it on your own, you know. And there's also saving time by a done-for-you package. There's no, you know, fiddling around on Canva or trying to find a graphic designer who just really understands your brand and your logo, and who can design a professional logo with all the files that you need. And there's no spending time on Shopify or WordPress trying to get the website right, trying to get the look, the feel, you know, the functionality, and try to get it to actually convert for you, most importantly. you just can't afford to have a shoddy website. Poor design reflects badly on your brand. One of the first impressions that a customer will have of you usually is to check out your website. And if it doesn't look great, that can represent your brand. People may think that your product's not great. If you've ever been to a poor website and you think, well, that's not really that professional, I'll click off. And if you are doing your own design, your own website design with a designer, you're at the mercy of them for 8 weeks with no sales. This is a complete done for you website. I'm literally just handing over the login details. And you could have lots of calls to action that lead to nowhere, means you're missing out on sales. I will have all the right calls to action on your website. So you're really having this one complete solution. So if you're anything like me, time is so very precious, with the kids and potentially your husband and, the drop off and the pickups and everything that goes along with school. I don't think you can afford to have time to figure out how to put an online business together. There's just too many components and too many moving parts. So I know how to tie it all together. I've learned through trial and error, through testing and optimizing. I know how to make sure that you have your best foot forward and a really strong start to an online business. That you have a website with the right functionality, with a really professional design, that looks great. And so people want to buy from you, and really a strategy that converts. So, I've come a long way from, running with self-hosted platforms like BigCommerce and Shopify to, launching my own online business and learning professional web design with WordPress. So I'm giving you those skills and expertise all wrapped up in a business in a box. I hear, and if you're already running a online business, I hear time and time again, and I see so many Facebook posts where their website's just not converting. Then when I check out their website, I can see so many glaring errors. I'm always happy to share my advice. So, the website that isn't converting is hugely important. Potentially, these people have spent thousands and thousands on a website, or hours and hours of time trying to get their website to look and function properly and ultimately convert for them, because that is the ultimate goal. Yes, it's to have an online presence, but so if you're an online business, it's so people. Let's just run through that. You get a complete mobile tablet responsive full e-commerce website, normally valued at $4,000 plus GST and upwards. You get a conceptualized, mapped out brand valued at $1,000. You get a professional logo with all the necessary assets valued at $600. You get supplier contact details, SEO friendly blogs, and that's valued at $1,500. It includes basic search engine optimization, and you get social media setup valued at $300. So the investment for my business in a box packages is at the extremely low price of $2,990, which really is a savings of $7,000, considering all the separate pieces or components, I should say, within the box. So you're really getting huge value here. Plus, every client receives an accountability partner and is paired up so that you can track success and really make a go of it. And you also get entry into the private members group, so you can network and really support each other as you go along your journey. Plus, I'm also giving away a bonus of 3 months entry into the digital school. So the digital school will be monthly loaded content of featured experts and topics and trainings in Instagram marketing, SEO, hugely important, Facebook ads training and strategy. If you've already got a business and you've dabbled in it, you may have started, having a bit of a play around with Facebook ads, but it really takes strategy and the campaigns to be set up properly and to be optimized. So we'll be walking you through some training on that. And Google AdWords. Google AdWords can be hugely, hugely effective and great ROI, but again, it's all about how the campaign's set up. So with every Business in a Box purchase, you'll receive 3 months complimentary entry into the digital school, which is a huge plus. So, some of my frequently asked questions are, how much will I earn? So, with a business in a box, it's important to remember that there are multiple revenue streams. So, really, the sky's the limit. And it all depends on how much effort you put into the business. So, the more that you put in, the more that you'll ultimately get out. So, I would aim for 100% markup on each item. So, if it costs you $5 per garment, I would aim to sell it for $10 or more. And, in most cases, when you're buying online, have a look at your competitors and seeing what they're charging and what the average cost is for that particular garment. For example, sleeping bags for babies range between $40 and $80. So I wouldn't personally recommend when you're starting out to go too high, and I wouldn't go too cheap. I wouldn't aim to just undercut everybody. I would look at an average cost, and when you factored in shipping, what it's cost you, and perhaps your ad spend, have a look and break it down, and just test the market with particular amounts. But if you're aiming for a margin of $20 to $40 per item, and you're selling, say, 10 items a day, you do the maths. It can be quite lucrative for you. Another question I get asked all the time is, what if I have no digital marketing experience? Which is very normal, and it's a commonly asked question because not everybody does. And in the digital world, it evolves and changes so rapidly that often, I get asked so frequently, and really, my answer to you is that you'll receive, with every Business in a Box purchase, 3 months access to our digital school, which is hugely invaluable. Because I am a digital marketer, I want to share all my knowledge with you, and you really have a taste of the digital school and learn Instagram marketing, Facebook ad optimizing and campaign setup, and Google AdWords as well. So, and that's just the start of it. And another question I get asked is, where will I get support from? You'll have access to a private Facebook community with all my other clients, and it's really a place to network, brainstorm, get ideas from one another. I'll be jumping in and doing live calls where I'll be teaching the latest and greatest marketing hack, and you're there to get support from other people and myself. It's important to demonstrate some of the business packages that I've designed and developed, and this was one of them. So this was a business that I created called Milk Bar Breast Pumps, and we sold this to the new owner, Diane, and she's actually made a roaring trade of her business and had huge online success. So I always like the name Milk Bar Breast Pumps as a unique business name, to really specialize in pumps. And as India, my daughter, was born so preemie, hospital grade pumps was absolutely fundamental in the process of trying to feed India when she was in hospital. So I thought it would be a good idea to put together, very fast hospital grade breast pumps, and a business selling those to really fulfill that need where, at the time I really struggled to find, breast pumps that were hospital grade and that weren't actually sold in a hospital, but just sold in the marketplace. So I put together this lovely little business, and Diana has taken this to great lengths and has really made a success of it. Let's also have a look at the Care Package project. So I created this business to really fulfill a need for new mums that were really struggling on their own and perhaps needed a little bit of support. So the Care Package project was providing, very unique packages of flowers, or a complete meal, or lovely little packages that you could send to a mum in a time of need. So I packaged up this business, designed the e-commerce website. My business partner at the time designed the logo, and we packaged it up and sold it to a local mum. The local mum that we sold it to was really looking for something in between wanting to work, not particularly wanting to go back into the field she was already working in, and really just starting small and developing the business. And we had already done the hard work by sourcing the suppliers for the flowers and the meals, so finding a cleaner. And we'd really packaged it up so that it was a complete business ready for her to launch. We even created a Facebook page and had generated 4,000 Facebook fans. So she had a really strong start to her business. Then there's Petite Bamboo, the baby wear label that I completely developed from scratch. So I have to say, this has been my greatest work in terms of succeeding in online business. I created the business from scratch. I designed the label, all the garments, sourced the supplier overseas through my local agent that I mentioned, and really made a red hot go of it, and really made a roaring trade from the business. I went on to actually sell it so I could focus on other ventures, and the new owner has really taken it to even greater heights. As you can see here, she has gone in multiple baby expos and toddler shows. She's even taken the brand internationally. And I was very surprised to be scrolling through my newsfeed and to find, the label that I created and where she has taken it. I can't take any credit for what she's designed, but, really, when I look at it, the logo I created from scratch, the garments I designed, it was sort of my vision. And the new owner has launched a whole brand new range with some beautiful designs, and really had the initiative to take the brand internationally and go into shows and change direction. So I won't, and I refuse to take credit for that. But I'm really proud that, a business in a box that I created has been a success for another mum. This is the new owner's little baby here on the left. And it just reminds me that I created this business when my baby was young. And really, it was because that I had a vision and a passion for wanting to do my own thing and to have my own identity and success. And, I'd always had a bit of an interest in baby clothes. I just loved them. And I was at the stage in life where it was relevant for me. It always helps to be totally interested and passionate about your niche. So, I really loved beautiful organic clothing, and I created a brand out of that. So I'm hugely proud of Petite Bamboo. If you'd like to discuss any of my business in a box packages, I am inviting you to get on a call with me to discuss, and simply head over to the link below and let's chat. If you book in a call with me within the next 15 minutes, I'm also offering my ultimate guide to SEO training. It's valued at $490 and it really gives you the best possible start when it comes to ranking your business online. The reason I wanted to give this away is because I'm very, very passionate about helping mums achieve the level of success that I've had. It hasn't come without hard work and dedication, but I know that if I can do it, I know that anybody can. I don't want to see any mum struggle and, have the quandary of whether to return to work or negotiating with their boss, or really struggle financially and feel the burden of not being able to bring in a decent income. I don't really discuss my salary with very many people, but I started to now because I have achieved this success. It is very real for me. And now I'm at a point where I can't ever imagine going back and working for somebody. I know the kind of success that I can have with my own online business. And I'm very passionate about my business in a box. I know that they could help so many mums out there. So I'm really inviting you to jump on a call with me to discuss. You head over to the link, and it is businessboxed.com.au/call, and book in a convenient time. And I hope to chat to you soon. Thanks. Bye.